today with my good friend Mike in his 2007 Ferrari 599 GTB. We're going to be taking a look at this car, seeing how it drives, how she handles, and she's got a straight pipe on her, so she's pretty loud. We'll start off with the big question, Mike. How long have you had her?
I've had it for 1 year and 1 month.
So, did you have any other Ferraris before this, or?
I had a 550 Maranello for 6 years.
Oh, jeez. Now, was that straight piped as well, or?
Yeah.
And now, the big question, I know, well, in these cars, they're selling for $500,000 now if you have the 6-speed. Did you have the 6-speed in your car?
Oh.
In the 550?
Yeah, I had a 6-speed, right.
Good man, good man. I was going to say, like with those cars, I've heard a lot of horror stories about the F1 gearbox at that generation. So
yeah, that was the early model.
Yeah, but it's crazy that now these cars are going for like $500,000 for those handful of cars that have the 6-speed. All right, so obviously the heart of any Ferrari is the engine. This one, I'm right in saying it's a 6-liter V12 up front?
Yep.
And then now I hear different numbers. What is the actual horsepower figure? I hear 610, I hear 620.
Oh, it is, most of the literature I've read says 620.
Okay. And then this engine isn't exactly stock, is it? There's a little something else done to it.
It has straight pipes.
And you were saying how much extra horsepower they estimate?
I should add about 35 to 40 horsepower.
Okay.
So we've got about 650 horsepower now.
Now, see, normally I'd say, this would be the part where I'd say, let's hear what that sounds like, but we got pulled over doing that 20 minutes ago, so we're not exactly particularly trigger happy on that one right now.
And also, it's a really bitchin' looking engine. It looks really bitchin'.
Does it? Well, see, the problem is, like, especially in a lot of modern cars, you can't see the damn engine.
Yeah.
Like, even in the F12, there's all this plastic covering it. So, like, yeah, you can actually see the valve covers, but there's so much plastic you can't really get in there and enjoy the craftsmanship in a car like this anymore.
What I like about the 599 is they didn't do that. The whole engine is exposed. In fact, I cut off the back rim of the engine opening so you can see the entire engine.
All right, now why don't we take a look at that real quick?
All right. Shortly after I bought this car, I put leather preservative on all the leather. It took about a week.
Wow, so
The manual says you should use neat's foot oil or mink oil. You're not supposed to use synthetic leather treatments. So I got some neat's foot oil and I put it everywhere.
well, I mean, the leather in this car looks absolutely fantastic. I thought this car was a lot newer than it is, so you can tell it works.
I'm going to keep the leather good in this car. But there's so much leather, like I said, it took about a week to put it all on.
Yeah,
It's working.
Jesus.
Again, a couple of years, I'm going to do it again.
Talking about the suspension now, this right away, it's basically what you'd expect. It's a little more supple than I thought it was going to be, but the car it responds like it should. It doesn't respond like a big GT car that it is. It feels nimble. When I drove the Murcielago SV, it felt huge. I felt like I was driving a boat. But driving this, I don't get that same feeling of the car being a massive car. I feel like I can just hammer it through here, but given our little inclination to attract law enforcement today, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Police do notice this car.
I wonder if that has anything to do with that straight pipe on the back.
I am learning. I'm becoming very skillful at feathering this when I drive by the police.
Sometimes you just gotta let these cars open up.
Yeah.
I love Ferrari, and I love most of the Ferrari guys, especially the guys that we know. They're all great guys, but unfortunately, there's a lot of guys out there who own these cars that just hide them away and refuse to drive them. Like, you can't not drive a Ferrari. It's sacrilege.
What's the point of having a Ferrari with all the, the maintenance and repair expenses if you don't drive it?
Yeah.
For instance,
Uh-oh.
if you lose your key, guess how much it costs?
Let's see. The keys for my Ford are like a couple $100, like $100 I think. So I'm gonna say Ferrari $300.
Well, how about 900 plus tax, which makes it shoots the hell out of $1,000 bill.
Oh crap!
But you know what you do? Don't lose the key.
Oh, that sounds like pretty solid advice on that. Alright guys, so I'd say the last thing that I really want to talk about with this car in this drive review is I'd like to address something said by Sir Clarkson a while back when he drove this car. He said this car does not feel special, that it doesn't feel like a proper Ferrari should for a car that you're not going to be...
He said that?
Yeah, he said it.
I'm going to slap him.
Get in line. But I think he's... Actually, he might punch you in the face first. But I'd say it definitely does feel like a very special car when you drive it. You know you're not in something that everybody else has. I mean, how many cars can pull like that?
One thing about its transmission is when you're sitting at a red light, it just sits there.
Yeah.
It's very different from a standard car with an automatic and a torque converter. With the torque converter, the car always wants to creep forward at a red light. This car does not at all.
No, it doesn't.
And it took me a while to get used to that.
In conclusion, obviously, I'm giving this car probably like a 99 out of 100. So we'll be back next week with Mike here, back in the 599, talking about some of the downsides to owning a Ferrari. I can't imagine there are that many, but I also wouldn't have guessed that we made it all the way up to as many as we did in that Buick. So
the only downside.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Yeah, we have a whole other episode for this.
All
right, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna throw up all of our social media right about here. Drop us a like there, and also I want to give a big thank you to Wicked Auto Detailing for getting this car ready for us today. This car, it gets loved, but then it gets used. So these guys, they came out. It looks factory fresh. They did an absolutely fantastic job. We'll have their link down in the description below, so you guys can go find them. Until then, we'll see you next week.
It's only when you're shooting a movie that your cell phone goes off every 5 minutes.
9 GTB. We're going to be taking a look at this car. I just got a text message. Damn it. About 20 minutes ago.
It's because of your fast talking that we didn't get a ticket.
And another cell phone. Your phone's going off again.
Oh! Yeah.